Hey, welcome to Titan Wash Tech, where today we're looking at ways to save a lot of money getting more features and hopefully more revenue at your car wash. When you're in a self-serve car wash, there are tens of ways to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars in order to improve revenue, and it's a big investment. One of the issues we have in Portland is we have a very old Coleman Hanna Power Pack Super Saver. I don't know, it was an experimental model that was their first direct injection model, and inherently it doesn't really work that well. It's really hard to service, really hard to work on, and no one really wants to touch it. So the recommendations are spend $100, $120, $160,000 to replace the pump stand. And I don't want to do that. We don't own that real estate yet, so until we do, we really can't make that large an investment because it just wouldn't make sense. So what are we going to do today? We are going to look to add a new feature to our self-serve. It's going to be, realistically for testing, it'll probably be foam brush, but the goal is for it to be the tire brush, which will have a really aggressive tire cleaner, wheel tire cleaner. We call it Green Snapper from Warsaw Soaps. For testing, we're going to use foam brush because it's less aggressive, and we'll just see how this holds up. So what we're going to make is a clone of a Dosatron panel using a Nutri irrigation pump and this smattering of bits here. Now I know you're thinking, why bother? Well, to get a good 3-bay system from Dosatron or even AirLogic, you're looking about $1,800 for a single function, and for a triple foam about $3,400, which, you know, it's all built in stainless steel. I'm sure it's very good quality and I'm sure it lasts, but that is a lot of money. It just is. It doesn't matter how you break it. Parts for car washes are just getting more and more expensive. So we're gonna try with this guy. He was $133 from Amazon, and the total parts come in somewhere around $350 or there or thereabouts. I'll have to check. The only other really expensive part was the solenoid block, which I picked up from Car Wash Superstore, and I want to say that was about $130. So $260 realistically from all the other parts, maybe another $100. Call it $350, which is a lot less than $1,800. Even if you're not that great at math, you can tell that's a lot better deal. So let's dive into building it. We're going to use this plywood here. I've coated it, I've sealed it with some wood sealer, which hopefully does what it says on the tin. We're going to mount this sort of central, have a regulator that comes in, which comes in this way, and then we're going to run it through a shutoff valve, which goes this way. At which point we're going to run soft hoses to connect to here. Then on this side, let me show you, we're going to come out on this side here, and then we'll be into the little PEX hose, and then we can just, well, it's not even PEX, is it? It's the little PVC flexi hose up here, 1/4 inch, into the manifold block, and then out to the bays as they disperse that way, which actually isn't super awesome. I'll probably turn those around so that it goes that way. Cool, that's the theory. You're probably looking at my desk thinking, what is this desk? What is he using? Well, as my dad said when he visited over Christmas, like, I was never good with my hands, so I don't have a workstation, I don't have a worktop, but I do have 2 Laurel vendors that I picked up for almost free off Amazon Marketplace. Amazon Marketplace? Facebook Marketplace? If you look here, they are indeed an air freshener and a glass cleaner, because that's how we roll. Maybe one day I'll graduate to a work table. Let's dig in, let's start. I don't have my full toolkit, which is unfortunate. I'm using my Mickey Mouse Home Repairs toolkit. It's still from Harbor Freight, it's just not the tools I would like to be using for this. Anything we can't do here, we'll pick up when we get to Portland tomorrow. Yeah, like having a decent wrench would be nice to do some plumbing. Yeah, we'll get that tightened tomorrow, because that's not really gonna work. You know what, we're in the realm of that'll do. That'll do engineering. This is a proof of concept. We'll figure this out if need be. That should work. And then to support it, because it's proof of concept, I'm gonna put just a little pipe clip like that. Nice and simple. This is super lightweight. There's gonna be no weight on this really. That should do. So I never really know with these little plastic fittings whether you're supposed to put tape on. I figure it can't hurt. So, you know, why not? Now I've got some of this braided hose, which I just had laying about. Again, proof of concept, so I'm not really too upset. We'll use that. It'll be more than good enough for street pressure. Well, actually, we are gonna run this off a booster pump, so it'll be about 100 PSI. Still, it'll be fine. And then we need about yay much, so we'll give it a little bit extra. So that's gonna go in there. And then, oh, I really should have cut that a lot shorter. Let's dry fit it and then we can recut. Okay. Ooh, this already feels like progress. I'm gonna mount this nice and low. Yeah, about there. One issue I've just spotted. There's obviously, this is flat, this is up 3 inches. So I need to make sure that there's enough angle or dangle in order to get that without kinking the hose. So yeah, not a problem. So I wanted to make sure that we could quick disconnect the Nutri, the Dosatron pump. So I just got some of these little couplers from Lowe's. Really simple 1/2 inch coupler. And then I can swap it out if need be. Because I have a feeling this will break, especially when I start running tire cleaner through it. I'm feeling the pump just won't deal with the alkaline from the tire cleaner. Let's cut it there. Ah, where's my coupler? And this whole thing is going to be all about going up and down sizes, and you know, that's not always a good thing. Got halves, quarters, 3/4, 3/8, anything you think of. And that's before we talk about the one big problem that I haven't solved yet. Now, I'm actually wondering, is it better here, because of that strain on the corner there, I could just do that, and then it would be perfect, then I don't have to cut it again. Yes, once again, my genius knows no bounds. One of my favorite Clarksonisms. Let's get that all the way on. There we go. Okay, so we've got our inlet side sorted. Water's going to come in from the top there, through our valve, which we can shut off, is round our little speed loop, and then into our Nutri, which we're going to attach real soon. Just trying to make sure everything fits before I start fastening things on. It's a big board, so it should be fine. So when we come out of this side, I could do with some more tape. As you can see, I've been trial and error to make sure I have enough parts for this. It turns out, of course, I don't. Ah. So amusingly, this was meant to be my Christmas project, but it is now February and I'm finally getting around to it. We have been busy with various things. And that leads me on to the next thing we don't have. I don't have any other PEX line. It's actually in Portland, which is fantastic because that's where we're going in the morning. So we're going to come out of here into an elbow, and then we're just going to come up here. Super simple. I don't think I need one that's that big, but we could use one that's that big. Yeah, that's the wrong size. But we'll go in here, we've got a 1/4 to a 3/8 outer there, and then we'll hook up one of these solenoids tomorrow. I'll be good to go. I'm gonna fix all of this, and I'll show you the finished project in a few minutes. So close. So for the sake of the proof of concept, we're just going to bolt these on with some very cheap bolts with a little washer. They are, yep, genuine Chinesium, all millimeters, so they're metric for keeping the cost down. Cost almost nothing for 1,000 pieces, nuts, bolts, and washers. Why am I so bad at this? Great, step one. Practically finished. What the hell, this is wood. How? How did I walk that far? How the hell are we gonna do this? Okay, so remarkably simple. 4 bolts, 1 screw, because I don't have a bolt that was long enough and thin enough to get through the solenoid block. And I have turned the solenoid blocks around so that the chemical comes towards the middle of the board, and I can then have a terminal block here to join up the air and the chemical, should we enhance this and add an air terminal to it as well. That's what we can do tonight. I need a couple of parts. We do have to talk about one problem. So one issue we have is coming out of here is a barb, and the barb is my Harbor Freight toolbox, no judgment. This is just a 1/2 inch hose, similar to this guy here. And it just comes with this filter. Now, the astute amongst you will notice that that is by no means a check valve. So we're gonna have to come off a barbed hose. We're really gonna jerry rig this because I need to get from that 1/2 inch, get that down to a 3/8 outer, 1/4 inner diameter, and then I can put a check valve or a foot valve on the end and jump it in the chemical. It's a little bit janky, it's proof of concept. Should we go forward with this, we'll figure that out, but for now, it'll do. Right, I think it's best that I just stop by Lowe's, pick up some extra parts, and meet you in Portland where we can actually start testing this out. See you there. All right, it's the next day, and you join me in Portland, covered in water, because as you can see from that clip, may have sprung a leak. I just found out that when you power any of the functions, there's a manifold that powers all of the low pressure functions, and I wasn't fully connected, and it just kind of let go. So that's not super awesome, but you know, live and learn. So we have to dismantle the board slightly, reconnect one of the hoses, and then we'll wire it up and we should be good to go. I just got soaked. Okay, I think I figured it out. Whatever this is not what I need. The thread on there just will not go with my 3/4 down to a half reducer. So my coupling, that's a reducer. So we're just going to bypass it. We know that this is coming off the pump stand through this guy, and we'll rebuild it, reconnect it up, give it a try. I mean, what could go wrong? What could go wrong? Worst case, we get wet. Last time we had the great flood of the pump room, we managed to break this screen, which is not super awesome because that part's $2,000. So it shall remain broken. You know, as I'm stood here doing this, I imagine people at home are like, oh, you're using something for an RV, that's clearly not going to work. And, you know, you live and learn. I live and learn. This whole car wash game is me basically learning everything from scratch. I never really did plumbing as a kid, never really shown how. I think I was shown how to plumb in a radiator once, and never wanted to touch a soldering iron. So now I just put PVC tape on and use a wrench on all this stuff. I mean, you wouldn't solder this anyway. You get my point. This is all new to me. And if you're thinking of getting into car washes, even if you own car washes and you outsource a lot of service work, you really can pick it up. You know, you lose a lot of margin if you have to get service calls every time something goes wrong. Really about fixing it yourself if you can. Good example, that slightly different industry, but following Keenan, I think it is a guy that has laundromats, does all his own repairs, all his own installs. Really smart guy. Saves a lot of money because he doesn't have to outsource his repairs. You hear water dripping in here quite a lot, and I wasn't sure if I had a new leak or if it was raining. It sounds like it's raining, which I'll actually accept today. It's Super Bowl Sunday, we're not going to be busy, and being a little bit quiet so I can mess around with the plumbing is actually really helpful. All right, that should be good, he says. Last time I thought it'd be good too. There we go. Well, turn it around another half turn. So this is what I was talking about. These lines here, I assumed the booster pump came on, or there was a solenoid for each line depending on which function was on. But no, at the back there, here there's a manifold block that has no solenoids. They just come off one of the booster pumps. You couldn't even tell you which one. This guy. And they control the pressure. Got an issue with spot 3. For some reason, it keeps dropping to 50 or 40 PSI. It should be 200. So look at that if I ever get this working. Okay, literally as I connected this up, somebody turned the low pressure functions on, and we're pretty good. We have a little drip, much better than it was before though. And yeah, we're getting close. Okay, so we are connected here. I have done some wiring, let's call it, to the Bay 1 pre-soak lines here. I've taken off the solenoid here. I've disconnected the outlet here, and I think are ready. That'll go straight to the manifold above. With regards to soap, it's a little bit of a budge job. I don't have a foot valve. I thought I did, so I'm using a check valve. We're testing this, so as long as it gets suction, it's going to be fine. I'll dip this into some soap. Hopefully, when I turn this on, and then I run outside and turn the pre-soak on, we'll come back in here. Oh, I see a bubble going, and everything will be working. What are the chances of this working first time? Let's see. We said pre-soak, which here is dirt remover. Let's run back inside. Crap. Okay. All right, well, let's talk about the wins. It was obviously pulling because it's pulled that much before it blew its hose off. So, I mean, it works. All right, I had to run to Ace to pick up some hose clamps because we're low on parts in Portland. And as I was buying these, the lady genuinely said, whilst I'm moderately moist in a sweater, do you need an automatic leak detector with that? Like, ma'am, I am the leak detector. I am soaked. But it was a nice gesture from her. I don't think she saw the amusement in it, but I did. But then I have a slightly twisted sense of humor. Let's get these installed and we'll test it and we should be good to go. Okay, so I'm starting with Touch for Wash right now. All right, we have a leak, that's fine. Oh, we have quite a leak actually. Where's that coming from? Oh, did I do this up too tight and I've broken it? All right, still doesn't work. Okay, a couple of tweaks and we're gonna start again. I bypassed the one. Come on, you. You have pressure, why aren't you pumping? What am I missing? This is drawn chemical though. I can see air coming up. What is going on here? All right, I did nothing. I just had to be patient. Got pink lines out here. Hopefully translates to soap. Lots of soap. Woohoo! Something I did actually works. That feels like a win. Yeah, it just took a little bit of time for the pump to prime, I guess. That works better than our current pre-soak. It's a little bit rich. I wasn't really sure where to set the dial, but I'm actually blown away. Blown away that works. Ooh, I've got air bubbles going backwards though. I don't want that, so I need a check valve. 3/8 check valve. Ooh, yeah, I don't want chemical going back to the pumps. Okay, good to know, good to know. Try again. Oh, that's not worked. That might not be a good check valve. I need a check valve on the other side of the pump. Okay, good to know. It appears that when you use a actual check valve that's designed for these lines, it actually checks. The one that was designed for a fuel line, doesn't work so much, alas. We need to now get a 3/8 check valve. Bish bash bosh, we're done. Awesome. Okay, just to wrap it up, there's a 3/8 hose. Try to take some of the load off by just wrapping around that bracket. Comes in there to a non-working swivel, through a check valve, through our shut off, and as you can see now, that hose, supply hose is not pink anymore, but our outlet is. It works. Now I will total up exactly what this cost and I will put it on the screen now. Ooh, someone's going in the automatic, it's about to get really loud. So that wraps up our little experiment. Can you make a Dosatron clone for $300 and have it work? Yes, you can. Will it have the longevity of a official Dosatron product? Probably not. But you know, you can replace that blue pump a number of times. It's only $130 there or thereabouts to replace it. So we're gonna play around with this and see just how long it lasts. I might put it on one of our more abrasive chemicals, something like the tire cleaner, you know, the most alkaline, or one of the stronger pre-6, just to see how long until the diaphragms fail. Purely out of curiosity to see, is this a viable way for us to lower the cost of improving Portland? It'd be great if we could get this wall-mounted unit system rather than having 3 feet of pump stand, because you have about 2.5 feet of walkway. So it would be wonderful if we could do that. Is this gonna be right for everyone? Probably not. If you want to take on the liability and the risks of having homemade stuff and having to fix it more regularly, it's probably not for you if you don't want to do that. But it can be done. And it feels like a win for me. I hope you've enjoyed this. Next we're gonna be making just our own foamers, nice and simple. I need to make some foaming units, figured I would film it and go from there. So if you've enjoyed the video, consider a like and comment, do subscribe, stay up to date with everything that we're doing and all of the tutorials, quote unquote tutorials, let's say experiments, because that's more realistic. I like to play around and try new things. Join me in the next one.